How's it going, Blazers? David with Blade Banter, working to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. Today we have something that is a prototype. It is on Kickstarter, so if you want to support it, head over to Kickstarter.com. Check out Arcane Designs. This one is going to be available, so head over there now. Place your order if you want it. But this is going to be what the knife is, so this is how it looks in pocket. Starting off in a new way. Also, I did change up my setup. So before my tripod little mount was actually attached to this table, so when I touched the table, then my camera moved, and hopefully you didn't get sick, but that was on my last video. But now I can shake the table and everything else, and you guys are fine. Thank you very much. You're welcome. So we're going to be going on to this one. So this one is from Israel. This is the Arcane Designs knife. It is going to be made by Reate. The prototypes are made by Reate as well. So it is on Kickstarter currently. I have a few more days to check it out. It's going over to another reviewer after this, so hopefully we can get a little bit more traction for it. Have this come to reality, because then he is putting it up for the money to produce the prototypes that went out. Went to a few different folks to be able to check it out, and it is coming to us through Arcane Designs for the Apex Pass-Around group, so thank you very much for that. So this is going to be what it looks like. 4.8 ounces is for the weight on it, titanium, aluminum for the bolsters on both sides, and then also going to be an M390 blade. There are some iterations that he's changing after getting into a few people's hands, so that's going to be like doing a few different things with the logos. I think going to be rounding out the tail of the knife a little bit, and then just a little bit of finishing, fit and finish type of things. Not fit and finish. I apologize. Reate is excellent on fit and finish. So it's more of feel, some little things that came up that he wanted to change out. So for the production side, there will be a few different changes for like the rounding for that. He was talking about changing the flipper tab a little bit to make it a little bit smaller. See how that would work out for that as well. But that's going to be kind of the changes going on. There's about $368 is for the pricing that it's being offered at. He said he's not making any money off of it, so he's just really trying to get it produced. So Reate is higher end. It does have a higher cost. So that's where you're like, well, you're just like super expensive knife. But that's kind of what you're going to pay for a Reate. If you go into the market, see what things are being offered for. So about $368 to $388, depends on where you get in for that amount. So the flipper tab itself, the actuation using the Lyman pull gauge, goes for about 2 pounds 13 ounces as far as being able to actuate this open. That's going to be a little bit different on the flipper tab itself, so that's why I'm not too sure on how that's going to get a little bit smaller. Like it is kind of small already, so if you make that any smaller, I don't know how well that's going to actuate. But then I think what people were talking about more so is going to be on this side in the open position as far as bringing it in, but it's almost like you have to extend the actual blade a little bit, or the handle, to make that work. I'm not too sure how that's going to function, but that's kind of the idea behind that. Light switch is the only way that I was able to find to open this up, other than a traditional. So basically if you're going to do a two-hand open, you could do it that way. You can do a pinch and roll, kinda. So that's going to be what you can do there. If your hand's a little bit more dry, you might slip a little bit. I found that to be the case. But that's another way to open that up as well. For this one, it's going to be about 3.5 inches for the blade. And then the handle side is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and about a half, maybe a 3/4 for the handle. So that's going to be where that it's going to be for the sizing for it. It's going to be a flat grind on both primary grinds for the Tanto blade. So the front and the back side, both flat grinds, about 23 thousandths on this belly and about 26 thousandths on this belly here for that. And then the one thing that I did bring up to him, as far as it might be a preference, because out of all the people that have looked at the knife, I'm the only one that said anything about it, so it just might be my own silly preference and something that nobody cares about but me. But as far as the degree of ramp, so basically until the detent ball actually gets onto the blade entirely, So it does have a detent ramp. So basically at this point, it's basically onto the ramp itself. But then to get onto the blade itself as well, it's going to be down to that portion there to actually be fully onto the blade. So I find about 20 degrees is really good, 30 degrees is not bad, 40 degrees is something that I feel is a little bit excessive, and this one comes in about almost 50 degrees for it, so maybe 50 degrees, maybe like 45. But that's kind of where I brought that up as far as a concern from my perception on it. But whether it goes about it on it or changes anything, I'm not too sure, because again, I'm the only one that brought it up, so it might not be an issue. Blade stock itself is 4 millimeters on this way, and then it is going to be a right hand tip up only. That's going to be on this way. And then as you saw at the beginning of the video, as far as how that sits in your pocket, this one also has about 2 pounds 7 ounces to get this pulled out of your pocket. Maybe a little bit less, because it's basically, that's including the knife. So you're going to look at about 2 pounds 2 ounces. I forgot to take off the weight of the knife on that. So about 2 pounds 2 ounces to get this pulled out of your pocket. Still not horrible for it. Retention is good on it. Also, one thing about it too is you can have T8s across this whole blade. So this is going to be the pivot, and also the hardware is going to be a T8. So that's something good as well, so you wouldn't have to worry about stripping it out as much, because those will be able to hold it on a lot better than some of the normally T6 and T8s that you find on most hardware. So that's a good thing about that. So comparison wise, you can look at some of the ones that are out there, so Reate, which is kind of that go-to as far as a comparison, and it almost seems like this is going to be kind of the go-to going forward. It's going to be like a bug out, because most people will have that too. So even with people that have really expensive knives, it seems like they still like a Reate, or at least respect it. And then you have the bug out, of course, for that. And then that's going to be the sizing for that as far as those go. This one is a few different things that I was talking about as far as some changes that I might recommend for it. But as far as the relief for it, actually the release area, I found it to be a little bit thinner than I would like, because it actually does have a little bit of a sharp feel. It's not anything that's going to cut you or anything else, but it's just a little bit more noticeable, especially since I fidget with my knives a lot more than using it. Sometimes I'm taking it out of my pocket not to use, but to fidget with. But also, what Iaar's already working on, basically this little tips here, could just use a little bit more rounding off for it. But it's really good to see somebody take something from a design all the way through, and especially trying to make your own brand out of it, is something that I'm going to try and do, which is not easy. I mean, you think about everything that you get in a box, and that's all the things you have to decide on. So coming down for packaging, so what packaging you're going to get, what paperwork you're going to get, what wording you're going to have on it. So all those little things, website, Kickstarter, yeah, it goes on and on. So it's a lot to take on. So hopefully it is something that's successful, and hopefully you guys are able to check it out. So for buy, borrow, or avoid, it's not really a buy, borrow, because you can't borrow it. So you either buy it or you don't buy it. So that's going to be your decision on that as far as what you feel. It's not within my wheelhouse as far as the things that I like. I do appreciate where it is and what materials he went with, and the reason behind going with Reate was to have the confidence level for the knife. Also, for the reason that he went through Kickstarter is to also build confidence that it won't be made, or you won't be paying for something that won't be made. So very good with that on Israel's part. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to work on those things. He's continuing to work on designs. You can reach him on Instagram as well, so you can actually talk to him, ask questions, and then I think he's got a few more days on it, and about 30 or 40% as far as current funding. So check those things out. Let me know as far as what you think on everything else. And thank you very much. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, and thank you very much.